Supreme Court
Biden's gonna fight against this.
Supreme Court guts affirmative action in college admissions. They finally got it.
Damn right. Get affirmative action the fuck out of here. How long I been saying that for?
Wow. Mystery man.
Hey, mystery man, maybe you're not George. You the only one brave enough in the comment section to say something.
The Supreme Court says colleges and universities can no longer take race into consideration as a specific basis for granting admission, a landmark decision overturning long-standing precedent that has benefited Black and Latino students in higher education. Chief Justice John Roberts wrote an opinion for the conservative majority saying that Harvard University of North Carolina admissions program violated the Equal Protection Clause because they failed to offer measurable objectives to justify the use of race. He said the programs involved racial stereotyping had no specific end point. Now, it was a Canadian Asian dude, right?
Yes.
Canadian Asian dude came down here.
Which is crazy. You from another country and you feel like
you have a right.
That's why I'm saying that America is the only country that people feel like they can just go into and do whatever they want to do. Like, that's crazy. You from Canada.
He's saying he has a right.
Affirmative action don't even. It's not. That have nothing to do with you.
Nothing. But anyway, so he came here. He fought Chinese Canadian. Yeah, he came here. He wanted to go to Ivy League school. He was denied the numbers, the test scores necessary.
She said Chinese Canadian.
They had the test scores and stuff necessary, but they got denied. Whatever reason, this person blamed the smallest population in the country for why they didn't get into the Ivy League school.
The blacks.
Now, keep in mind, them getting rid of affirmative action. Why didn't they also go after legacy admissions?
Because they know that's white people.
But here's the thing. If you tell me that Ivy League schools, who I think 50% of their school is legacy admissions, if you tell me that you are forced them to have a certain percentage of each race, and then you take that away and say you can do what you want to do, who says that legacy admission ain't going to grow to 80, 90? So you still not going to get in. You're still not going to get in.
They just became minorities too.
And they shaking shit up. Asians said they came here to shake shit up. What's that group we got? That group that went back at us? The Asians with attitude.
George neck of the woods.
It was in the comments talking crazy. White women benefit.
They were Californians.
White women benefit most from affirmative action. So why do they oppose it? Well, let me just read a little bit of this. People often associate affirmative action with efforts to end discrimination for people of color, but scholars say the greatest beneficiaries of affirmative action policies are white women from college campuses to American workplace. White women today are more educated and make up a bigger slice of the workforce as a result of decades of affirmative action policies. Scholars say white women have also made inroads into corporate leadership that people of color and women of color have not. Well, I could tell you why they do it. The same reason why they were told that Trump was a misogynist and all the other stuff, and they still voted for him. Because he benefits them as a race. This benefits them as a race.
They're always going to have their white males back.
Exactly. They're going to stand behind they man. They're never going to do something to go against him.
They may let you hit it, but they're going to stand behind the white man.
And another reason why they do stuff like this is because it is. This is who they are. They're the ones who knitted.
I was about to say that. They were knitting this shit for their man.
They made this. Their daughters, and they're the ones who made the food.
They went to the picnickers.
Yeah.
Picnics.
That's just kind of their point of being in existence. When you talk about white supremacy and the system that exists, and I don't really call it white supremacy, I call it self-preservation. Their version of self-preservation. They're always going to do stuff that benefits them first.
And they produce the white males.
Exactly. So if you're saying this white supremacy is through him, then it's clearly to protect her.
Exactly. Hell, the white one was like, get the fuck out of the way. You don't know what you're doing. Let me string them up.
What happened? Oh. So if you look at these pictures and the history that it is what it is. This is what they do. They stand in solidarity.
I hope all these black women put that PhD to good use, because won't be no more.
Oh no. This is what we talk about.
She said now that the schools are moving away from test scores, what excuses will Asians have?
Now, how does this benefit or harm HBCUs?
It benefits HBCUs because I think that black people that would be the predominantly schools they'll go to. Hopefully.
But can HBCUs handle an inflation of 20%?
They're going to have to.
That means some funding is going to go their way. Go ahead. Exactly. What you spelled.
On Louisiana, since some agents tried to shy away from their test scores as a stereotype.
Well, didn't we find out that a lot of those agent students were getting their tests?
Especially.
Didn't they say a lot of those test scores the agents were getting were through the Ghanaian or the African
Kenyan?
students?
It was the Kenyans were taking the
test for them.
The tests for Asians.
So,
and you remember they be in Asia. I mean, they be in Africa because there's little biracial Asian African babies all over the continent.
Oh, she's really
making
sweet.
them Africans baby mamas. But didn't they say that the hip hop culture Afrobeats is affecting Africa and causing them to be baby mamas? But y'all already that.
Let me say this. Funny you brought that.
The Asian men are making y'all baby mamas and leaving and going back to Asia.
I don't know how the DeVito story we talked about earlier. Apparently, he got another woman pregnant. He's married, or something like that. And they thought the woman he got pregnant was Black American. I don't think she is. But for some reason, they brought up Black Americans in a story about Africans.
Yeah.
We ain't got nothing to do with it.
We don't have nothing to do with y'all being ratchet.
All right.
Doesn't most of the funding come from the tiny hats for HBCUs?
Well, most of them were started by Caucasians, and the ones that were North Carolina actually got a lot of HBCUs that were started by Black people.
Damn right.
So North Carolina, I think,
A&T,
Washington D.C., I think, and South Carolina, a lot of those colleges are from Black people.
Black male and immigrant leaderships have already announced this will overwhelm HBCUs. We can't teach our own while pushing for diversity and inclusion.
Well, yeah, I think they said 20% of HBCUs is white students. They're starting to see an influx of quote unquote brown people or Latinos.
I think Hispanics been going there.
Well, it wasn't at the numbers that it is now, I think. And the number of black students going to HBCUs is dropping, or at least the number of black people going to college is dropping. So I can't show this tweet because
it won't be with that affirmative action. Get it out of the way.
I can't show this tweet because for whatever reason, this woman who worked for the body administration in the past, she deleted the tweet. So her saying "fuck you" the
white woman.
Yeah, she deleted it.
And you didn't save it, screenshot. I tell you that all the time. They delete shit. I tell you that all the time. Screenshot shit.
She deleted tweets, all of it. No, her account got suspended. I'm sorry. So Elon Musk must have called it hate speech. This white woman who used to work for Biden.
She pretty much says that we couldn't get into HBCUs without
merit. African Americans would never succeed in a merit-based system.
Exactly.
And people were like, wait, what?
And then she came back and clarified it, saying she was not calling black people dumb
or less intelligent.
A Chinese mayor in Boston. We call her Mayor Me So Horny.
Oh yeah, I know. Only talking about she beat out the black one who was the interim mayor.
There ain't a lot of black people in Boston though, is there, Mr. Man?
Yeah,
Did Bobby ever come back and visit?
The interim mayor was a black woman. They got rid of her. They voted the Asian woman in.
Always screenshot. Reply to their post. Comments.
Yeah, I'm gonna start doing that because she deleted it. She did when she got suspended. She didn't delete it. So I'm sure if I get the name, can
Mayor Me So Horny.
Hold on, let me try this. Let me try it. Hold on. I'm gonna try to find it.
Only special Negroes in Boston.
Special.
Wow. Special as in special, or special as in been touched? Which one?
All right, let me play this right quick.
Says college admissions cannot consider race as they try to diversify their student bodies. Now, this is overturning a 2003 opinion by then Justice Sotomayor, who said at that time, we hope in 25 years, we won't have to look at race as a consideration in college, but that's just not the makeup of our country right now. Well, it's been 20 years, and these justices have said that the court, according to this opinion today, that they think that race should no longer be a consideration as colleges try to diversify. Going back to oral.
All right.
He said Bobby Brown came around and they shot his Bentley.
Bobby got a crazy story.
Well, I wouldn't come more. I'm coming to visit y'all and y'all shooting my Bentley.
Now, another thing that came from this affirmative action decision is the words of what's his name, Clarence Thomas. In his opinion piece on the decision,
and they seem to only ever attack him.
To go after him, he pretty much made a case for lineage
Too
over
much on the
race.
king of R&B. He not the king of R&B. Y'all know who the king of the R&B. We already played the king of R&B earlier.
He who should not be named.
We already played the king of R&B earlier in the beginning. Bobby Brown. Whitney gave him that name. We didn't give him that name.
Well, Whitney is Whitney though, so we go with it, don't we?
Whitney not the queen of R&B. They call her the queen of pop.
Who queen of R&B? Oh, no, you don't. Aretha.
Like Michael Jackson is the king of pop.
Aretha.
R&B is soulful. However,
You
she
saying Whitney
could
wasn't
be
soulful?
soulful when she wanted to.
Are you playing with fire right now? Anyway, it's another Bishop Talbert tweet. He said,
Lies. Bobby is the king. No, the hell he not. Bobby is not the king of R&B. The king of R&B is R. Kelly, the Pied Piper.
So Bishop Talbert Swan pointed out that after this decision about affirmative action, a lot of these racial diversity hires have been laid off from their jobs. So Disney Chief Diversity Officer LaTondra Newton exits. Warner Brothers Discovery lays off diversity exec Karen Horn. Film Academy's Executive VP of Impact and Inclusion, Janelle English, exit organization. And Netflix Verna Myers to exit. Wade Davis promoted to lead inclusion strategy. So a lot of these positions where they bring in these people to talk about race in the business company and help them with understanding race, and they getting rid of these people.
Oh, that means that this affirmative action is really out the fucking door. This diversity, all this shit is gone. They about to pack this shit up. Whitney is the voice. I will not disagree with you on that, but Bobby is nowhere near the voice. We saw him in a battle with Keith Sweat.
But Keith Sweat is Keith Sweat, though.
Keith Sweat is not a great singer either.
But he's Keith Sweat.
He just has a distinct, unique voice.
These women being fired is just a non-story. You think so? You think this had nothing to do with the idea that they're moving away from these racial hires in these corporations?
Were those black women they were firing, or were they?
What?
Bobby's a great dancer, entertainer, but you didn't say nothing about singing.
Well, R&B is more than just singing.
Huh?
R&B is more than singing, ain't it?
No, R&B is strictly based on singing. Pop is great dancer, great entertainer. R&B is based on the vocals.
All right. Clarence Thomas says he's painfully aware of the social and economic ravages that have befallen my race as he rules against.
Oh, well, she said, what the
action.
wait the fuck? Not Keith. Don't disrespect his voice. But you're not defending Bobby Brown. Exactly. Gotcha.
Gotcha.
His singing is average.
I want to show this picture right
He
here.
can keep a tune.
Look, this is the role they're saying that Clarence Thomas is going on. Look, they got rid of abortion,
DACA.
affirmative action.
Please get it out of
Student
here.
loan forgiveness.
He
And
knocking
now,
at the door. He's the Grim Reaper knocking at the door.
trying to get DACA up out of here.
Travis is a pop artist. No, I would be considered an R&B artist.
You're doing too much.
You doing? No, I'm not doing enough. We can talk about Keith Sweat.
Hold
Voice.
on. Before y'all get into this, let me just get through this right quick. I know y'all know who Thomas Sowell is.
Do you believe?
And we all have our opinion on Thomas Sowell. But this is earlier in his discussions where he talked about how affirmative action negatively impacts black people. Let me just play like a
Bobby be
1
the
minute
goat.
30
His
of this.
voice sound like a goat.
That mandatory proportional representation benefits minorities.
No. In fact, I think one of the great handicaps that blacks and other minorities face across the country is that they are systematically mismatched with universities in
The disrespect here is too much.
the admissions process.
Ain't enough
That is,
disrespect.
if Harvard feels that it must have X% of blacks, and if the pool is such that they can't get X% of blacks at the same level as the rest of the Harvard students. They're going to take those blacks who would have succeeded in some state university and bring them to Harvard, where many of them will fail. Or MIT is a better example, that the average black student at MIT is in the bottom 10% of MIT students in math. But he is in the top 90% of all American students in math, because MIT students are so phenomenal in mathematics. Something like 1/4 of all the black students going to MIT do not graduate. You're talking about a pool of people who score at the 90th percentile in math, whom you're artificially turning into failures by mismatching them with the school. Back in the, much earlier, you had a great increase of blacks in the universities through the GI Bill. You had nothing like that kind of attrition from that process, because the student went wherever he could be accepted, wherever he met the normal standards, and the government simply paid the money.
I gather from your comments about MIT and Harvard
That ain't Uncle Joe,
that
is
you
it?
don't think there's enough blacks out there who are
Blacks.
qualified to fill the number of vacancies allotted for them in those schools. Is that right? Is that what you're saying?
Well, the word qualified is really misleading.
Well,
the
how
question
do you-
is whether or not they are like the other students at
Damn,
Harvard
George
and
is a
MIT.
mess.
Well, okay. Oh, so there's not...
So they may be perfectly qualified. The same student might go through, God help us, I hope there's nobody here from Illinois, Illinois Institute of Technology
He
and
would
do
go
well.
But
But there's no reason why he should fail at MIT. There's no prestige in flunking out of the Ivy League.
I got it. So, but my point is, you believe there are not enough black women and
Oh,
men
Jim Crow Joe.
out there that are...
He been home.
He been holding on to that
He been
headline.
holding on to that hairline for a long time. Damn. Damn right, Regina. I'm interested in all sides of things.
Qualified is really misleading.
Well,
the
how
question
do
is whether or not they meet through, God help us, I hope there's nobody here from Illinois, Illinois Institute of Technology and do well. But there's no reason why he should fail at MIT. There's no prestige in flunking out of the Ivy League.
I got it. So, but my point is, you believe there are not enough black women and men out there that are the same as
Sounds
white women and
awesome.
men to be able to go through Harvard and MIT.
If there were, it would mean that the whole history of oppression had done no harm whatever.
Now, Thomas Sowell is known for being and saying certain things that are obviously white leading type stuff. He says things that people would say,
I'm floored.
dang.
She said, I can't wait for Sal and Thomas to take their last breath. They have done nothing to advance even boys like then. It's sad this is the only way for black men to get ahead.
So you see, I was going the route I'm trying to talk about. He said things that are stuff that's true. What he just said right here is black people have been affected by the oppression that they've dealt with the last couple hundred years. So they should be given a chance to succeed in their own, not being graded on a curve, but in realistic terms, if you look at the education that we have, you can't say that our education should equal to somebody who's had it from the beginning.
Who's had years and decades of head start of you.
Exactly. So don't just put us in the same situation. Let us build our way to get there, is what he's saying, which is true.
Yeah, because you're always gonna fail.
If you allow us to be at the level we're supposed to be, we'll
thrive.
Just like everybody else, we're going to grow and reach that level and surpass at some point.
But if you put us in a position where we're not there, then
Yeah.
we're gonna fail.
Yeah.
Only way to stop racism is to get rid of white people.
I mean,
Can he get a round of applause?
huh?
Can he get a round of applause?
I agree with Gina. He said, Powell, he does
Yep.
state a lot of actual things for
A lot
myself.
of factual.
I had to remove my cultural emotions to exactly.
Exactly.
He also said some bullshit.
We have to stop with this truth narrative.
Other people
No other people
exploit
expose and
weaknesses.
exploit weakness in their community. Go
Well,
in,
that.
go in, honorable.
I say, if you're a person who's speaking quote unquote truth, who you saying it to? Are you in front of your people talking truth? Or are you in front of other people talking truth, quote unquote?
Thomas Sowell is an interesting conservative. I just brought a couple of his books.
It's like, are you talking to your
You
people
will read anything.
or are
God
you
bless
talking
you.
about them? That's two different things. All right. NAACP president name drops Clarence Thomas in brutal dig over affirmative action. So the NAACP came out against him, obviously. Jerry Jackson named Clarence Thomas as the worst thing that affirmative action has created as he condemned the Supreme Court decision striking down racial preferences in college admission. Johnson excoriated Thomas in an MSNBC interview Thursday and called the decision an unfortunate footnote in the right-wing Supreme Court's legacy. He's only ever talking to other whites. I agree. That's why I don't take people like that seriously. If you're constantly talking about black people, but you're always doing it in front of a white audience, that tells me you're not really talking to your people. You're just talking about them.
Yeah, he definitely got some BS mixed into. And once you get rid of the pale skin racism, then we got to get rid of black classism, which is just as harmful.
In some ways, it can be even more because they act like they with you.
Because like Travis, he talked to his people.
Here's their opinion. So in this opinion, there's one part that everybody kept pointing out. I got this from social media. People read through this whole thing and they found this little part. It said, importantly, however, the acts apply to freedmen, and this is Clarence Thomas, and refugees, a formerly race-neutral category, not blacks, right large. And because not all blacks in the United States were former slaves, freedmen was a decidedly under-inclusive proxy for race. It says, moreover, the Freedmen's Bureau served newly freed slaves alongside white refugees. And the advocates for the law explicitly disclaim any view rooted in modern conceptions of anti-subordination. To the contrary, they explicitly clarified that the equally sought by the law was not one in which all men shall be 6 feet high. Rather, it strove to ensure that freedmen enjoy equal rights before the law, such that each man shall have the right to pursue in his own way, yada, yada, yada. So,
she said, what is plating?
So, what this is saying is that affirmative action had to go because it's race-based, and that it would be fine if it was lineage-based.
Yes. Can I laugh? Can I have fun? Do I have to be serious all the time?
Clarence Thomas is saying something that can be used towards the reparations thing.
He used the word freedman.
No, it ain't just freedman. He's making a point for lineage. Hold on, let me move forward. Biden came out and talked shit about him. This is not a normal court. Biden blasts affirmative action ruling. Ketanji Brown Jackson came out and talked shit. Jackson's dissent decries affirmative action decision as a tragedy for us all. And this is what I want to show definitely. Acho, however you say his name. He came out after the decision and had an opinion on it. And some people are saying the only reason why they should care is because the affirmative action had benefited them, but black Americans.
And now Ocho to go.
Didn't this Emmanuel Ocho dude say that he has no connection to black American trauma?
That's what he said.
That's what he said.
He actually told us to get over it.
But in this, he kept referencing the term us to talk about the oppression and why affirmative action was necessary. So let me just let this load and play the video.
Again.
Oh, the disadvantages of black and brown people. Here we go.
The oppressor has unfortunately won again. In case you missed it, Supreme Court, they overturned affirmative action. What does that mean? That means that colleges can no longer allow race or gender to play a role in admittance. Here is why that is a pivotal mistake. Well, number one, race has always played a factor in determining college admittance. What do I mean? College admittance is primarily based upon standardized testing. Well, standardized testing isn't actually a metric of intelligence. Standardized testing is a metric of resources. It's a metric of what caliber of education did you receive. Well, your education is based upon the public school system or private school system that you went to, primarily public school system. A public school system is based upon the resources of that public neighborhood. That public neighborhood is based upon redlining, and redlining has been based upon racism. Okay, let me give it to you in the inverse. If racism dictated redlining, who could live in what neighborhoods? How to put the black people and the brown people over here. And redlining dictates who lives in a neighborhood. Who lives in a neighborhood dictates the resources of that school, and the resources of that school dictate how much help you can get for a standardized test. And a standardized test now dictates who gets into a university. Well, then racism was always in who gets into and who cannot get into universities. So affirmative action was simply going to undermine the negative racism that started the college admissions process in the first place.
But
go ahead.
So doesn't that go to the Thomas Sowell point that you're in a neighborhood that you're underprivileged educationally, but you're being forced to go to a high level school that you're not ready for? So you're gonna flunk out of that Ivy League school, not because you're not intelligent
That's
enough.
that's
but
the
because
No
you weren't
Child
prepared.
Left Behind Act.
Yeah,
shit.
you were not.
We gonna just
go ahead.
the No Child Left Behind Act. We just gonna keep passing your dumb ass along.
Yeah.
And then
When you get to the highest level, you're gonna fail.
you're gonna fail.
And we're gonna say it's your fault. And it's like, no, you didn't properly prepare them to get there. So
You know what? He shouldn't be speaking for this because he's Nigerian, first and foremost. And was him taking off his clothes a representation of him breaking down, like he's unveiling?
yeah, he's trying to be artsy.
Well, he wasn't artsy.
He's
His
trying to be
dumb
an artsy-
ass.
Trying to be an artsy person.
He's
All right,
a
let's see what-
scammer.
Let's see what Roland Martin had to say about the social.
Pole.
Watching me
Fat
right
ass.
now, and anybody who's listening to me right now, if you chose to vote for Donald Trump over Hillary Clinton,
Oh, he's Asian.
you can kiss my black ass.
We don't even know if he's black. You look like he from the Caribbean, right?
Yes. Well, he said he's not.
He might have some of that Indian blood in him.
Because all of those folks who got caught up in Bernie didn't get the nomination.
Anima said, "Are Gula people really African American?" We need to get to the
Wow.
bottom of that. They are African American.
They are. They just consider themselves. They're like, we're indigenous to this land.
Well, according to her point, what is African American then?
What Gula Geechee is like Creole.
Are they black American? Are they African American? We've had this debate before about Creole.
Well, I said they Frenchies. They're
French,
Haitians.
They French. Oh, the Haitians.
Even
French
Honorable
anyway.
Arsena said that's our cousins. Still, vote red no matter what.
Rolling in for a
is
rude
in
awakening.
for a rude awakening.
I wish, Honorable, but we know it ain't gonna happen.
I think that we're gonna turn out in red at
2024.
2024. I believe so.
We'll see.
I ain't vote for Hillary. Guess what? That's how we got today's decision.
How about that?
If Hillary beat, and let me be perfectly clear, Hillary wasn't no perfect candidate. Ain't no perfect
Why
candidate.
he doing all that shit?
But I
with-
know she damn well was better and smarter than Trump. I know damn.
How
Why-
so? Oh, you mean getting away with crimes?
It takes intelligence, I guess.
Damn well, she would have never appointed a Neil Gorsuch, a Brett Kavanaugh, a Amy Coney Barrett to the Supreme Court. And so,
But
Oh, she wouldn't have appointed all these conservative people to the Supreme Court. Why would she? She's a Democratic.
didn't her? Am I tripping? Or didn't her husband put up Clarence Thomas? Or was that Bush? I can't remember now.
again, all y'all folk who commenting today on this
She
decision,
letting it go.
and if you kept your sorry ass at home, and if you didn't register, and if you did vote, and you voted for Trump over Hillary, kiss my ass. You sound like the dude, Latino dude, who used to clean. He used to do some yard stuff or whatever. I can't remember what he did. It clipped some inside. I don't know. My wife hired him. I don't know. And so, he was a big ass Trumper. Oh man, he loved him some Donald Trump. Until Donald Trump started deporting that ass.
So
Wait,
y'all
Donald-
not gonna talk about the fact that that the Supreme Court struck down student loans?
But Donald Trump deported less people than Obama.
And when Donald Trump started going off on them damn immigrants and building the wall, it's amazing how his tone changed on his Facebook page. And guess what? That's why we use hashtag we tried to tell you. So again, if you one of those folks,
That's what he had to say about it. Once again, going back to Hillary.
A lot of Gula people I've met have Caribbean relatives today. So who are they in the past?
Maybe do they got Caribbean relatives through marriage or just through blood?
She talking about through blood.
Oh,
Travis got a book. 4 crying emojis.